There is something about Hungarian cuisine in that it's not just about the food, it's about the experience, it's about being together. It's not necessarily just about a giant pig on your table. It's about family, and I think that drives me to want to bring people together over a steaming hot pot of chicken paprikash. When I was younger, my Hungarian grandmother did not want to cook Hungarian food. She escaped the war, and so did my grandfather. So they didn't want to have anything to do with the cultural to traditional ethnic dishes of Hungary. They wanted to forget it, but at the same time, they were definitely proud of being from there. It's a very complicated relationship, and the less information she gave me about it, the more I was interested in it. It took a while for my grandmother to kind of give up those dishes, and as I got into my teens, and I started prying at it because I was super curious. So I would cook with her, and she would just give more and more recipes. When I moved to New York, I just happened across this raggedy old book, The Cuisine of Hungary, by George Lang, who is a famous Hungarian restaurateur. He wrote this book on the history of Hungarian food, and it has 100 recipes that are very old world traditional. So I just started flipping through it. It was definitely not the cuisine that, I was raised up on. It was something completely new, and I just was very intrigued by it. I had realized there was no more Hungarian representation in Manhattan, so I thought, wouldn't it be really great to kind of bring that back and preserve the recipes of my grandmother in that old world, but at the same time make it new for a new generation. Langos is the Hungarian equivalent of a New York City pretzel. It's found on every street corner. I would liken it to a hybrid of focaccia and a donut, which together is amazing. The first time I had langos, I was just wandering through the streets of Budapest, and I just happened upon this small hole in the wall, and my family was like, oh yeah, langos, it's a piece of fried bread. It's coated in a lot of garlic oil. It's finished with sour cream, fresh kraut, and sometimes bacon, which sounds like a heart attack on a plate. It was arguably one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life. I immediately said I have to bring this back to the USA. The first time we had tested langos here, we wanted to keep true to obviously to what langos is, but at the same time, not cover it in sour cream and kraut and bacon. I like to stick to the classics, but also reimagine it in a new way. So we just coated it with honey and cheese and just kept it, sweet and salty, just kind of the best bite you could possibly have. And that's how we came up with langos. Egg noodles are a mixture of Jewish culture and also Hungarian cuisine. Egg noodles in Hungary are typically served with something that's braised. My Hungarian grandmother would make no kedli, which is a version of egg noodle. It's kind of like spätzle. And my mom's mom would make noodle kugel, which is a traditional Jewish casserole, and it has egg noodles in it. I've always had egg noodles my entire life now that I think about it. And this version is paying tribute to both my Hungarian and Jewish background. The egg noodles are made with strictly egg yolks, some really fine flour, and then all-purpose flour, and that's it. And then we cut them into squares, and they just kind of get coated in the sauce. We take garlic, we slice it super thin, we toast it in butter, and then we add a very concentrated tomato paste, and we just add pepper to it. The egg noodles have this really extraordinary flavor and a really nice texture that we wanted a very simple kind of grandma nona sauce on top of it, and it just gets finished with cheese. We're just putting chicken paprikash on the menu now. We take a sasso chicken, we start by almost dry aging it, then we coat it in something like a soy sauce. So it's forming a very dry skin. Then we braise it, and then we flash fry it. So it has this really great crispy skin, and then it gets tossed in this paprika paste, which makes it super vibrant and red. And I'm trying to make the best version of chicken paprikash that I can, because I want it to be something that's nostalgic and familiar to, myself or anyone else that grew up with a Hungarian mother, grandmother, but with a lot of herbs and using a lot more floral notes, different spices that you wouldn't commonly find in every Hungarian dish. Palacsinta is a crepe. My grandmother used to make Palacsinta every Sunday night. It would come out in a tray of crepes with sugared nuts, like 5 different kinds of jams and preserves, and sour cream, occasionally some Yoo-hoo chocolate syrup. And you just would DIY, make your own palascinta. We actually call it an extravaganza on the menu just because it's so outrageous. And we serve ours with creme anglaise, a plum caramel, rose sugared walnuts and cashews, and salted sour cream. So it's kind of like this big ordeal and very nostalgic. There's something comfortable about people reaching across the table to grab just like spoonfuls of sugar and cream and fillings. It's just it's very homey. And sometimes you have this menu that's really beautiful and can be a little serious, and we just wanted something playful to add to that. When I was 9, I told my parents that I probably wanted to be like an astronaut or a basketball player. And then I watched like my grandmother's cook and my mother cook, and I think it was just an accumulation of all these smells and tastes that kind of ushered me into the cooking world. I think I will continue with the Hungarian cuisine. It's proven to be a real challenge to try and educate people on a cuisine that nobody has any clue about, especially words that are incredibly difficult to pronounce. So I think moving forward, it's more about Hungarian influence and what that means, not necessarily, sticking strictly to traditional dishes all the time. So yeah, we'll kind of see where it takes me.